What's up, everybody? We are back at the BE00TAKE00 Show, episode 41. I am your co-host, the PJ North, for those wondering at home. Thank you all for joining us for another episode. We got a great episode. However, I am co-hostless tonight as Tebow, man, just doing Tebow things. He's probably like in the quarterfinals in Florida. He's down there racing out of Mockley. They gave a time run today, threw our schedule off, and obviously we didn't know when he'd be done, so we didn't want to have to burden him with that. I'd like to, I like his clear head. I need him to win for us, you know what I mean? So Tyler will not be with us tonight, but worry nonetheless. We will have a great show regardless. Again, I am your co-host, the PJ North, and if you're watching with us live on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I need you to interact with me tonight because it's just me for the first part. So let us know in the comments that you're there. If you're watching live on YouTube, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button. We're so close to 700 subscribers. We want to keep that moving up this winter. If you're listening live on iTunes or Spotify next day, don't forget to hit that review button. Leave us a review. 5 stars preferably always helps us out. And share with your friends. Tag myself or Tyler on all social medias. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all those things at VPJ North. Pretty much everywhere. That's where you can find us. So thank you guys for joining us. This is episode 41. Like I said, we've got this episode and one more. Next week will be our season finale here for season 1 of the BE00TAKE00 Show. Then we'll take about a month break to regroup. We're going to do some new graphics, new things. We've got so much to offer still in the off season, what would be considered the off season of January into February and March when we really kick it off. So again, next week will be our season finale. Don't forget to join us for that. We'll go over the year in review, talk about all the things. It's going to be great. I'm super excited about it. So thank you guys again for joining us for 41 episodes. A lot of news to talk about, a lot of things to talk about. We got a special guest. Meyer is going to join us tonight, so we'll get into that. But before, I'm going to give my thoughts, and I'm glad, Clint, that you said it. We'll talk about the headlines a little bit about NHRA. Shout out to Keystone Nationals. I don't know if y'all can see that hat right there, 1988 Keystone Nationals. The Keystone Nationals are no more. And we'll talk a little bit about that, Maple Grove. But I thought this hat was, I've got a lot of memories about Maple Grove. And so we'll get into that a little bit. I'm glad you brought that up, Clint. Before we do that, I got a couple other things I got to get off my chest because I don't know if people know, but NASCAR, they settled their thing. I don't know if y'all know that. That's exciting for me. I'm glad they're going to get back to it. I'm obviously a 23XI fan. I like 2311. I like Denny Hamlin. I can't believe I like Denny Hamlin. He's an Ohio State fan. I can't believe I like Denny Hamlin, but I do. I like Tyler Reddick, and obviously I'm a big Jordan guy. So Bubba Wallace, the whole team. I enjoy their stuff. So glad that NASCAR and all of them got that done. I wanted to just say, I wonder if NHRA brass were caught saying the things that they said about Richard Childress or about Front Row or about 23, what would happen if they just imagine if the guy I don't even know the dude at the top's at NHRA anymore. I really don't know. But just imagine if we caught them saying some shit about Antron or John Force or we'd run them out of the building, right? We'd have to. I gotta believe we'd have to run them out of the building. Maybe we do need that. I don't know. Maybe let's catch Glenn Cromwell saying some shit. I don't even know if he's still there, but not really. I just think it's crazy that NASCAR was doing that. Bonkers. And if that happened in NHRA, it would be such a controversial thing with us, obviously, like it was on NHRA. I saw all the newscasts that covered it. All there's a lot of like Twitter news media for NASCAR, right? Jordan Bianchi, all those guys, but there's people that I follow, brake hard and turn left and all those things. But I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that's good. NASCAR is obviously going to move forward. So that's my feedback on that. I thought I'm glad it's over. We're going to move forward. I think it'll be better for the sport as a whole, motorsports in general. So I look forward to that. John Cena had his last match, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about it. Obviously, I'm not the biggest John Cena fan, right? For those who are listening for racing, we're going to get to it. But for wrestling right now specifically, I like John Cena. Good. Just did so much for WWE. But I was watching everything else during his peak run. I'll be honest with you. I was a TNA guy. I was watching that. I watch a lot of New Japan, a lot of other wrestling, okay? So I'm not the biggest John Cena fan. However, I'll say this. I like Gunther a lot. I really enjoy Gunther's matches. I think recently WWE has not been for me. I've been watching, obviously I watch everything, but WWE just hasn't been for me. And that finish was the god-awfulest, worst shit of all time. I don't care that Gunther won. I understand it's a retirement match. Dude's got to go. But I don't care about him losing. I care about how they showed it. How he lost was cornball as shit. And then Triple H just doing Triple H things. So if you disagree with me, I would love to debate it. I've had this debate with some other friends. I just say, from my opinion, John Cena losing that way, I don't care that he tapped even. If he gave up later on, I'm totally fine with that. The way that he gave up was cornball as shit. I didn't enjoy it. And Tyler Miller, shout out to TY. Tyler, man, I hope Elegant Illustrated. Tyler, man, one of my favorite co-hosts. He did the Around the Mat pod with me a ton. I don't know what your thoughts are, Tyler, but shoot me a text if you disagree. Or if you do agree, man. Like I said, I just think it wasn't for me, and I was kind of like really disappointed because I've cut off basically all WWE stuff. Netflix is the only thing. I watch a lot of WWE on YouTube. I'm not paying for ESPN. I didn't pay for Peacock. I used a free trial. I'm not doing it anymore, and I'm out. I'm out on it. That really, I was like, damn, they don't know ball over there. So very disappointed in that. Lastly, I'll talk about the Michigan thing just briefly, just because I know a lot of my friends know I'm a Michigan fan. Look, I'm Michigan fan loyal. I understand what's happening is not good. That was terrible. The worst scandal. And I said this to my friends. We might need a death. They might have to give our football team the death penalty. I don't know that Ward Manuel is the right person to lead our athletics department. As a Michigan fan and a loyal Michigan fan, I've seen him play all types of places, basketball, football, hockey, the whole deal. I've seen him everywhere. It's a sad day for the athletes team, man. I was really sad to see that happen to our football program, and even sadder for the families involved. Not good. Hated to see that. So I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. So as a Michigan fan, I'm still a loyal Michigan fan. I would like to say that. All right, we're going to get into it now. Let's talk a little racing. I don't know if y'all know or heard, but TB Promotions is out here doing it. Look, obviously I'm partial. I'm biased to Brian and Tyler. They've both been very good to me. But I also think when they brought this idea to me and told me about it, my mind was blown. Absolutely. I was like, there's no way. Brian was talking about it last year, and I was like, he's like, I think we're just going to swing for the fence. I said, okay, swing for the fence. Interesting to see. I was like, okay. And then he brought it together. This whole thing came together very quickly. We drove to Michigan. We met with John, and we met with Todd, and we've obviously met with all the other partners that are involved. And TB Promotions is giving away an Ultratech. So for those who haven't seen the video or maybe don't know what's going on, here's a brief little clip, and then I'll be back around. So check this out. It's another great race day here with TB Promotions. The pits are buzzing, the water box is wet, and we are getting ready to get after it. I think the real question is, who's taking home the big check? I can't believe it. If it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to happen at a TB Promotions race, that's for sure. I have never seen anything like this before.
This has got to be the biggest thing we've ever seen in bracket racing.
Honestly, TB Promotions leveling up now when you see this.
I'm John Parks with Ultratech, and I'm going to tell you about this race car behind me.
TB Promotions is taking it one step further, where loyalty gets rewarded. For the first time ever, they're bringing you the TB Promotions Members Only Club, powered by Ultratech Race Fab. Members only at one low annual price, discounts, giveaways, VIP perks at every TB Promotions event. Members will have a chance all year long at winning over $250,000 in guaranteed prizes. And for one lucky person, their life will be changed forever. The grand prize winner will receive
2026 complete turnkey dragster built by the folks at UltraTech Race Fab and powered by Scoggin Dickey Performance Center Race Shop. You don't want to be on the outside looking in, so join us for the 2026 TV Promotion Members Only Club, your VIP pass to big money, big stages, and bigger moments.
Wild stuff. I never thought we would see the day where Tyler and Brian were like, yo, let's give away an UltraTech. So pretty cool. I know there's a lot of questions if you don't quite understand it. Just kind of briefly, it's a sweepstakes basically, right? You're a member of our group, and then you're entered in a sweepstakes to win a brand new turnkey, complete, ready to go to the racetrack today. We'll send you down to racetrack 430s, 440. Like, I don't know. If that doesn't get your blood pumping, get you going, I don't know what will, man. Visit racederbycity.com. That's not a paid advertisement. I obviously did the work, but I'm just very excited for them and the stuff that they do. So Brian obviously continues to take it to the next level with Tyler, and those guys are really doing it. So very excited to see the giveaway car. I know that they were at PRI doing the thing, talking, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing the whole thing. If you guys haven't checked it out, follow Race TV Promotions on Facebook. Again, Brian just kind of taking it to the next level. Todd and John and the guys at Scoggin Dickey Performance Center. I'm excited to see what they do because we've never done a turnkey car like this. So it should be really cool. We're going to, obviously, there's performance bonuses if you're a member and you're a part of the points and you come to the races and all those things. It's going to be crazy here. So excited to kind of continue to work with all those partners. With that, I would also like to say, if you have a business or if you have something that you need content for, you need videos done and you need some extra editing and all that stuff, I am available to help you out. My rate is, I would venture to guess, better than all the other rates you're going to get. And if you prefer to use AI slop, that's more your preferred way. Cool. Just don't call me. I've told Brian that I prefer to keep it, man. Like as a creator and someone who's worked in the art and all of that stuff, like I am a budget friendly who can help you out. So if you're looking to get something done, I'm happy to help out. So reach out to me and let me know. I can make a video. We can do stuff like we did for TB. I'm excited to see all of the other stuff that I've put together for the TB promotion stuff, especially for this UltraTech. So it's the TB Members Only Club, TB Promotions Members Only Club, presented by UltraTech Race Fab. Again, visit racederbycity.com right now to get your membership and join in. So exciting stuff. All right. With that being said, we're gonna talk about the rest of the headlines, and I'm gonna bring in our guest of honor today. She is the head of creator and racer strategy with Autofluencer. She's going to tell us about Autofluencer. If you don't know, she is a multi-time world champion at Randy Meyer Racing. Ladies and gentlemen, help me introduce Megan Meyer. Megan, what's up?
Hey, thank you for that introduction. Awesome.
Yeah, man. I try to keep it a little fresh for everybody. Thank you for joining us today. It's an exciting time. I'm going to bring you in for some of the headlines because I want to get your thoughts on some of it. Obviously, as someone who is involved in the racing side of business, me and you talked a little bit offline. I just thought it would be great to have you kind of give your feedback on some of these things. So I'm going to go through some of the headlines here for the people, and I'll let you bring your feedback. But first thing, NHRA is everywhere. They were really making a splash at PRI, I felt like. New tracks added. They added a bunch. They added one in Canada. They added, I think they added Holly Springs, maybe they added one out west. They've added one in the Northeast. They've added some in the lower divisions. I think it's great. What's your thought just on tracks kind of separating? You've seen a couple sanctioning bodies, but as yourself racing in NHRA pretty religiously for your dad, right? Obviously, and doing that for a long time. What's your thoughts on just them like expanding and then kind of retracting some, but then also expanding? What's your thoughts on just their tracks added? And what do you think it brings, not just NHRA, but IHRA as well? Like, what does it bring when you bring a sanctioning body to a racetrack? What's your thoughts on it from a business perspective or just a racer perspective as well?
Yeah. I have some mixed thoughts. There's a lot of whiplash at PRI this year.
Yeah.
So in the alcohol side, a lot is changing for 2026 with
Okay.
NHRA.
Awesome.
And so they got rid of majority of our regional races.
Wow. Okay. So big changes.
Yeah, big changes. So maybe it was like 10 years ago was when they changed us from divisionals to regionals. So there's 4 regions. There was West, Central, which is what I am. So Division 4 and 5 put together, North, Central, and then East.
Okay.
Next year, there's only 3. So there's going to be West, Central, and East. So Division 3 is combining with 4 and 5.
Okay.
So you would think there would be more races, right?
But there's less.
There's less. There's 4.
Okay.
Each region gets 4 races.
Wow.
Which to me is insane. So like we're losing St. Louis, we're losing Earlville, we're losing Brainerd, we're losing Indy, we're losing Norwalk. So like all of the main ones that we went to, we're losing, which really sucks. We did get back Great Bend, which
in
that's
Canada
great.
Or Kansas?
Kansas.
Okay, Kansas. Okay, I was like, damn.
Yep, yeah.
Okay, got it.
So we're in Kansas too. So that's great for us because that's not too far of a drive. I think it's only about 3 or 4 hours away. But still, yeah, we're. Oh, and also a big one that we also lost was Belrose, which is
which is confusing because I just don't really understand. I guess from that approach to it, right? So thinking of this like as from a business perspective in general is like, I really thought that alcohol was like peaking right now because they're as fast as they've ever been. There's as much parity as there's ever been, and there's actual like business opportunity. Like teams might not be able to afford to run Top Fuel, but they want to do a very similar thing. Like this is the feeder system to the next level. Why are we chopping? So do you know the reasoning as to what their thought process was?
Not 100%. So I do know with Belrose because we talked to the owners that they didn't even have a choice.
Wow.
So like some of them, it was because because the tracks have to pay for NHRA to come and race there. And so some of the tracks, because they weren't making money because the money they would make went to pay out the alcohol cars. Yeah. But a track like Belrose, like the alcohol cars is the biggest, best thing that ever comes in racing.
Yeah, for sure. That is the speed. Would get
a huge crowd, and we love the fans there at Belrose. Like they are so passionate, they're fun, they bring us gifts and food. Like it's the best time going down there. And so, but the owner was like, we had no choice, and NHRA just called up and said, hey, we're dropping it. And so I don't know. So yeah, business wise, some of it makes sense, but then some of it does not make sense.
Interesting.
So it is very interesting, but for us, it hurts us because but our 3 biggest sponsors are all within Indy, Detroit, Ohio area.
Sure.
So a lot of those Division 3 races that we lost were ones that they sponsored us to come and race at because we were in their area. So that hurts us.
Yeah. See, I think that's, I asked a friend of mine, and I asked Matt Forbes the other day, when do you think NHRA took a turn from their approach? And this goes to the PRI. We'll continue to talk about this, but at the turn, I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. I've mentioned this, and I'm currently watching the whole 2004 season from front to back from a pro perspective. I really think that 2004 was like the peak of a lot of things. I'm not complaining, and I'm not an old timer. I'm not revisionist history. I truly think if you look at the stands, my wife was like, damn, there's a lot of people at these, like we're just right now through Phoenix so it's the first 2 races. She's like, there's a lot of people in the stands. And I was like, yep, like it's a different animal back then. And I think that we continue to fight ourselves when it comes to this next level. And we're going to talk a lot about the business perspective, this week with yourself. From someone who is your dad's, that's their main, this is your guys' business and livelihood and things that you're doing to do this. And for them to just be like, all right, man, good luck, seems so odd that NHRA would do. And I'm not knocking a lot of the people that I know in NHRA that I'm friends with. They don't have control over this. They're unfortunately stuck with a story that then they have to sell to everyone else. Perfect example is one thing they announced is 15% sportsman increase.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome, right?
Talk about that?
Yeah, so I just say this is the first thing I just want to let everybody know. 15% increase in sportsman payout. Awesome. I don't care. I truly do not. I do care, however, that they slipped in the little part of increase in entry fee. It's already been increased. You've already hammered me. What are we doing? I love class racing. I'm not going to stop going, but I also don't do this for a paycheck. So it's not my livelihood. From your perspective, what happened? So what do you know? Obviously, you were there at PRI, the 15% increase, and there were some other discussions. What's your takeaway?
Yes. So another area where that increase is coming from is because they're decreasing the payouts for the other ranks.
Okay, got it.
So again, with alcohol, so it used to be they would do, I think it was like 30,000 if you win national series, and then you would get 15 for second place.
Okay.
2026, there's no second place prize money.
Y'all are gonna have to chop it up yourselves.
Yeah. So it's like, what the heck? Like,
I can't wait for that first conversation when we get all the drivers together. Let's just go. Hey, we're gonna have a drivers meeting here. We're fixing to get down to 2 cars, and we're gonna need to chop it up. NHRA they're like, I'm sorry, we don't do splits here. Y'all better figure it out because you're gonna have to. That's crazy.
Exactly. It's crazy because they want to compete with IHRA because IHRA has bigger payouts. But they're not actually putting in any more money. They're just distributing it differently. Which,
interesting.
They're trying to make it look better than it actually is.
Yeah.
So.
See, and again, like I said, I think that, and I'm not going to be the one. I am not a doom and gloom guy. I'm just not that guy. But it is an interesting take that these guys, the NHRA is, and it's not just NHRA. I'm using this as an example, everyone, is that this is what happened at PRI. So that increase always comes with some bit of the other side. And again, I'm not going to knock it. It is what it is. But it's an interesting take that we continue to see things and other stuff that we've tried to put in place to support, like the class racer reunion that Tyler and Brian tried, and it didn't work. So I don't really think that the majority of racers care. I just don't. The people that run NHRA are the people that run NHRA. They just don't care. I am one of those people. I don't go there for it. If I want to win big money, I'll take my bracket car to a bracket race to do that. And that's what I am there because I enjoy running super stock and I enjoy running national events and I enjoy running divisionals and I like that part of it. So yeah, the 15, I would have rather them not done that, to be honest with you.
Right.
I did see that Mike Rice maybe shared something with, and I saw this secondhand, so I know not to put Matt Lavonis on blast, but he posted something that Mike Rice had shared from a D7 perspective that kind of laid out the prize money. So for me, that's the part that I'm more upset about. Don't tell us you're increasing the payout by a percentage. Just tell us, hey, purses are going to be increased. We will share that at a later date. I just don't love that. It seems like the messaging is a bit weird. And again, I'm not knocking it. Hey, I just want to let everybody know I'm not knocking. I am, however, knocking if you increase the purse and then increased my entry fee the same amount. You didn't do me a favor. I just want to let that's where I'm like, let's just call it square and keep it the same way it was. Because there's going to be more losers than there are going to be winners, which is why I don't think the purse increase helped. Back to your point about the sponsorship thing, and I want to, Clark, I'm going to come back to your question, Clark. Thank you for putting that in there. From a track perspective and a sponsorship perspective, that really hurts because that's like if we wanted to as racers, and we're going to talk deeply about the Autofluencer piece of it. That's a big thing. Taking away those tracks and expanding tracks is great, but taking them away in races seems a bit odd. I know that they're obviously having issues within NHRA to fill national event spots. They just don't have them right now. We're down to 20. So it's an interesting thing. We're going to come back to all this. Next piece, another headline that came out, obviously NHRA being everywhere, Jordan Vandergriff and Alexis DeJoria at JFR. Was that a huge surprise for you as someone who knows these drivers and have done these things and raced with all these people? Was it a surprise to you that Jordan Vandergriff got announced at JFR?
It was up until the day before.
Okay.
And I had heard, my dad had heard through the grapevine if it was going to be. But before that, we really didn't know who it was. And I know there was, some rumors about Chris King going over there because he had tagged them on social media. And so everyone thought it was going to be him. So there's a lot of heavy hitters in the lineup. So it was a surprise to me because I know Jordan had been doing the announcing there with Courtney on the shows and stuff. So I didn't know if he was going to try to pursue a path back to driving. But I mean, he's an accomplished driver. So we'll see what happens.
I think I will say this for all of y'all wondering, he is the most marketable male that we have available, just so everyone is very clear. Okay. Look, if I put racing very similar to wrestling terms. Like if you're looking for a guy that looks the part, talks the talk, that's that guy. He's young. He's brash. He not even like in a rude way. He's just like, he's a very confident guy. I think a lot of people are like, man, we need Alex Laughlin. And I'm like, I think Alex is probably not the guy for that team, to be honest with y'all. But I do think he has a place as the next guy up, right, type of thing. So I thought it was cool. I thought it was very interesting, the team that they've put together. I'm glad that John – I did find it very funny that John was on stage and didn't know Josh's name. I thought that was maybe my favorite part because I was like, hell yeah, just John being John, right? Like, I don't really care. I got some cowboy over there driving this stupid thing. So I thought that was an interesting thing. One of the pieces I will say about driver announcements and things like that, Buddy Hall I saw is going to do his own thing, or Buddy Hull. I saw that then Jim Dunn's team was like, we're not going to make an announcement. I was like, that seems a bit odd. I assume that their situation is they don't have a driver for their car. Did you hear any others? And it doesn't have to be true things, but is there anything off the wall that you heard at PRI where you're just like, this is outlandish, but like maybe?
No, there really wasn't when it comes to drivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always find it interesting because I never really, obviously some of them know me and I know some of them, and I have a lot of friends that race professionally. And so it's always interesting to me to see what transpires, because I think having that is a big part of press that we miss within an NHRA. There's always the silly season to a certain extent, but like making it a bigger deal to me. It's a huge thing in sports when free agents sign somewhere else. And I understand we're not the same, but like maybe it would help if we were, right? Someone has switched sides. Like Josh Hart is going to JFR. This is a big deal. I don't think we made it a big enough deal that Austin Prock and his entire family left JFR.
Yes, that was talked about too. Yeah, so there's a ton of crew guys that are switching teams.
Okay, that should be a thing. We should be talking. This should be a thing. Wes, I don't know if Wes is. I don't. Obviously, maybe I'm not in the media as much, but I'm like, I should see this on my timeline all the time. So they should be targeting me every day. Austin Prock leaves. Where's he going? There should be a media person every day who just makes up some shit. It works for everybody else. I don't know why we're not doing it for that, because like that's a huge deal, and it hasn't been announced where he's going yet.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I shouldn't say anything.
Not that I've seen. I mean, I have my beliefs based on conversations I've had. But from my understanding, I don't think it's been officially announced where he's going. And so, yeah, we're not going to put anybody on blast. But it was interesting. PRI always gets me when we get to that. All right, last two headlines here that we'll talk about. And this is NHRA and IHRA alike. So first, NHRA is going to 131. I don't know if anybody's been to 131. We go there for TB Promotions. It is amazing. The team there is great. It's literally right off the freeway. It's an incredible facility if you haven't been there. That was my first IHRA national event I went to, was at 131. I ran Super Comp. Then I ran a Stocker there. Like, I really enjoy 131. So I'm excited for them to get a national event. Do I think that they have the same facility as some of these others? Just to be clear, guys, I've been to national trails, okay? Is it better than trails? I love trails. That trails is, but it is better than trails. Just so like, can they hold sportsmen and pros? Yes, they'll be fine. We stack them in there deep. Just as many rigs, right? To be realistically, and it's just as many big rigs. So like, is there all the pro rigs? Not the same, no. But like, I think it'll be okay when we get to that point. So I'm excited that they added a new national event. Now, on the flip side, losing Maple Grove. That's why I wore the hat. I hold Maple Grove near and dear to my heart because that was where I first ran Junior Dragster Eastern Conference Finals. I got my very first Wally from there as part of a team. I always wanted to run the Keystones. We talked about it last year. We were like, we're on the fence. Like, we really should go. And they use it. Like I said, I have a lot of great memories at Maple Grove. I always thought it was a cool facility. It's a great drive in there. It is sad to see them not be NHRA to a certain extent, but I'm glad that it's still a racetrack. So that's kind of where I take from it. Yeah, it's going to suck that Keystone's not there, right? But, like, why can't it be something else, right? Why can't it be the next big national event in IHRA? Why can't it be a pillar? It's the best facility that, and I haven't been there in years, but from what I remember, it's the best facility that IHRA bought, right? I like Galat a lot. Galat's awesome. They've got heated water underneath the racetrack in case it gets too cold. That's how cool Galat is. However, I truly believe that this is the best facility they bought. So while it is sad to see NHRA leave, not have a national event there, it is very cool to see IHRA buy it. What was your takeaway on that perspective from that?
Yeah, there was so many announcements and no one saw this one coming at PRI. And IHRA had quite a few announcements. So every time, like, they had a really big TV screen in their booth and it would just say announcement coming at 11 a.m. And so everyone's like, okay, what's it going to be? Like, did they buy another track or another series? Like, so everyone was just like thinking way outside the box because we didn't see that coming at all. But yeah, Reading is one that we, race on, obviously, at the NHRA tour.
Yeah.
But we have never had success there. We've it's one of the tracks where we have never won at.
Which is crazy because it's fast, right? It's one of the faster racetracks. Like, y'all should be out there hammering down.
Yeah, it is fast. The best I did was I runnered up, and I think I lost to Troy Coughlin, Jr. there. Okay. But I would red light first round every single time, and I was just cursed up there. So hopefully, maybe this will give us some, better luck now that it's
may switch around. I will say my favorite thing from Maple. I have a couple favorite things. Obviously, that's the first time I ever index raced. Was at Maple Grove. They used to have, obviously, the Eastern Conference Finals, and then on the last day, the day after, the track would put on this big index, and I got to run 890, and I had a blast. It was awesome. But I always remember the Parkway trash cans. And Parkway is a huge thing, huge dry cleaning business in the greater Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area that John Chickarone's parents own. And I remember this vividly because the trash cans all said Parkway, and I was like, this is weird. This is a great way to promote because your name's on this trash can forever. So I do remember that vividly. And I remember the 1 million gallon pool that used to be across the street. However, John Pelicane told me that it's no longer there. So that was kind of sad that the 1 million gallon pool is gone. So I was very upset about that. But it's just such a cool facility, and I'm interested to see what they do. Obviously, the Koretsky family did what's in their best interest, right? I don't think anybody understands that, whether they like it or not. But I think that they are also going to stay around and they're going to help do what they can for IHRA. I truly believe that IHRA makes a lot of crazy statements out there. I do say the Memphis one is the most egregious, personally. I think putting Memphis and Atlanta on a schedule seems outlandish and silly to me. I've driven by Memphis. I've seen pictures. I work in, my family has been in construction for a long time. We have constructed a lot of racetracks. We have done the safety walls on a lot of facilities. This is not a small undertaking So if he's got guys that can work and they can do it, and great, awesome, bring back Memphis. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. However, making a real splash with Maple Grove, I do think is a real thing. So I am very excited for what that looks like for IHRA and how that's going to go. Are you guys, and so then before we get into just the interview with you, are you guys looking to run more IHRA this year?
Yes. So we did 3 of them this year. We won 1. My sister won that one. And so, yeah, so we've been very pleased with our experience with IHRA. Awesome. We are a little burnt out, you could say, on NHRA.
Sure.
And so, yeah, so we are planning to do all the IHRA races next year. We are still waiting for them to announce which ones alcohol will run at, because they still haven't said that. So, that will dictate our schedule for 2026.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that's great. I'm very excited about that with IHRA. Yeah. That's great. Well, let's get into it. There's a lot of there's so much stuff we could talk about. Obviously, PRI was crazy. I'm interested to see there were things also that happened last week, which I'll bring when I bring Tyler back. We're going to talk. My hope, I'll just say this before we get into the interview with you. I hope everyone knows we're going to talk to Corey Galletti, because I want to know what Little Gangsters was like. That was originally on our notes, Little Gangsters versus Bracket Racers, all of these things. So, Corey, if you're listening or hear this, give me a holler, shoot me a text. I'd like to have you on, talk a little bit about that. But let's get into it, Megan. Obviously, I've known you for a long time, probably close to 10 or 11 years, I would say, just through racing in NHRA and things like that. But
well, I think we're both OG Team Race Pack.
That's exactly it. OG, so almost 13 years, which is really crazy. I'll talk a little bit about that as we go into the sponsorship thing, but Race Pack and teams doing it differently, that's kind of how brought me with a lot of people. I kind of became friends with a lot of that's how I know Cameron Foray, and Cameron became one of my best friends because of that. Randomly, I sent an email and was like, hey, I don't know if you know me. This is what my thing is. A lot of people know me. And he's like, yeah, dude, of course I know who you are. I was like, wow, that's wild. So that's crazy that, Race Pack bringing the people together since probably 2014 is probably when that happened. 2015, maybe. Crazy. That's wild.
Yes. Yeah, that sounds right.
That's pretty crazy. What was your, first, I guess I'll ask that because I like to ask this people, but what's your impression? And you can be as blunt as possible. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I grew up battle rapping, so I don't, if people were like, honestly, I thought you were a shit, whatever. What's your first impression of PJ North and what I was doing, obviously, from back then?
Yeah, well, I think it was different, but also, okay, so at that time, that was like my first sponsorship that like I got on my own. And so, so the people that were on like Team Race Pack, I was like just truly impressed, because it did open my eyes to different ways to create content and how like important it was to create content. And I feel like we were kind of the first ones on that wave to bring sponsorship and social media together in drag racing. And so, I thought it was cool. Like, and the fact that, you were an artist was something 100% different than anybody else out there. And I hadn't really like heard any of your music before that. But then, that's when
I get that a lot from people too, who are like, wait, who, what, how did this happen? I think that's the crazy thing too. I get that asked a lot. Like, oh, when are you gonna make new, songs? Obviously, I've stepped away from that. I will say that that's a great way to put that part of it, because from a music perspective, I was really trying to do something different. I look at all these people who have turned racing into their full-time thing as like, damn, I'm not ever jealous to a certain extent, but I am jealous of that. Like, I'm like, damn, y'all really figured out how to do it. I wish I did a better job of doing, because like that just didn't like, I was like, look, man, I did these racing songs so people would hear my other stuff. Like, all I ever wanted to do was make music and race cars. So like, damn, I wish I really missed the boat on that. I should have taken advantage of the YouTube thing back then. But, back then I didn't have the ability, what I felt like didn't have the ability that I have now is making content of like the readily available things to make content easy now is crazy. Like I have so much at my fingertips to make videos look good that I didn't have at that time. And I wish I understood that better back then that I do now. It's just so easy to make videos, and that's why I like doing it, because I really enjoy editing and creating. And so that's why I do the videos on my YouTube, because it's like, oh, this is cool. I get to like use different transitions, or I get to use different edits, and I get to really like, I'm self-teaching myself all the time. That stuff, which I think is really cool. And like you said, the social media thing, I never really enjoyed, and I don't enjoy it now. I think I'm almost like, I'm like sucked into it. I'm almost like somewhat addicted to that part, but I really don't enjoy it at all. Like to be honest with you, I hate the social media aspect because of how much, like almost like how toxic it is at all the time. Nobody, look, I'll be honest with you, ain't nobody ever going to say no shit to me on my, they're just not, they're not. I'll just be honest. Nobody's going to say some shit to me on Facebook or YouTube or anything that's going to make like hurt my feelings. My TikTok is just riddled. I have a video that this like people are just like commenting the crazy shit on there, and I want to just be like, brother, I promise you're not showing up to St. Louis and coming to say that to my face I promise you're just not doing it. You're not going to do it. And so for me, I never like, I kind of hate it, but at the same time, I truly appreciate the stuff that I do get from it, which we're going to talk about Autofluencer and how that's like really beneficial for us, because that's where I really see, like I saw value today. Shout out to Chris Bishop. I don't know if anybody knows him. I don't know Chris at all other than like via Facebook.
Amazing.
I don't know him at all. But I messaged him about the Go Lithium thing. As everybody knows, I'm rewiring my car tomorrow. Shout out to Chance Parker, who's flying halfway across the United States to come help me. I'm very excited about it. And so one of the things I've said this, I'm trying to make my car better. Go Lithium has come up a lot, and I'm very interested in the product because I've never had to worry about that. Every car I've ever had, they pretty much come with batteries. I'm just like, whatever. Okay. And I've run Red Top Optimus for my entire life. I have a marine battery in my Super Stalker because it's super heavy. It's good to have weight back there, but I'm also trying to get my car as light as humanly possible first. And so I was like, hey, Chris, you don't know me. Obviously, we know each other via Facebook. I have some questions. He immediately got back to me. That part of it, I really do love, because I think there's a lot of companies and a lot of people in our industry that have that immediate. That's the cool thing about it. So I really appreciate that part of it. And I think that's the good stuff, right? There's always some good that comes out of it. I can reach people pretty quickly, which I love. And so, yeah, that's kind of the one thing about social media. I don't know where I got off on my tangent, but that's kind of how I felt about it. I hate it, but I also love it. So shout out to Chris Bishop and Go Lithium, because he got back to me immediately. So I love that. Let's get into some questions first. First race car, what'd you have?
Junior Dragster.
What was it? Do you remember?
I do not. Okay. I don't remember what it was at all. So my sister, so I was 10, Rachel was 8. So we had to wait till she was old enough, because back then I was 8.
Could you just imagine you racing first and her being like, what the hell? Okay. Got it. Yeah.
So we found, there's 2 brothers that were in the Kansas City area that were aging out. So we had bought their stuff, and it came with everything. So starters, they gave us like a whole plastic tote of just extra
shit
parts.
You needed. Hell yeah. Turnkey.
We got their fuel jugs, and also we got their fire suits. And I remember,
this is my okay. I love that.
Yeah, so I remember I put on the fire suit, like neck collar and everything, and I wore it on the way home. And also we had a tow truck too, because my dad was in the towing business. Okay. And so yeah, we just had a flatbed tow truck with 2 junior dragsters on it and all this stuff loaded the toolbox, and that's how we got started.
Hell yeah. I love that. That's incredible. What was your favorite race car that obviously you're a dragster person. You've driven pretty much dragsters the whole time, but you have dabbled now into some other things, which we'll talk about, but what's your favorite race car that you've got to drive so far?
Okay. Well, right now it's the side-by-side that I'm racing, but if you want to stick to just drag racing, I mean, I've just done juniors, super comp, and top alcohol. I have loved all of them. We've had really good cars, but I will say the most fun that I've had drag racing was juniors. Yeah. Just because we had such a great community in Kansas City. Unfortunately, the track closed down.
Sure.
And actually the last race that they had there was my last junior dragster race because I was 18.
Okay.
It was the end of the season. And I was like so I had won the track championships the 2 years prior, and I was like third in points. And I think I just had to go a couple rounds to like get enough points to bump up into first. And I go into first round. I'm so cocky, like ego is huge. And I'm like, I got this. This is easy. And I break out first round. And I'm like, oh shit, this is how I end my last race. My junior dragster career is over.
Yeah.
This is what happened. So I was so disappointed. But my dad made my sister and I earn it. He was off chasing NHRA. And so as soon as I turned 16, he's like, okay, you're on your own, see ya.
Yeah.
And so I really had to learn like the dedication and the passion of like, if I want to race, like I've got to go load up the car and drive the truck and trailer myself and find someone else's parent who can start the car for me. And like whenever, so then like me and Rachel are racing in, the 13 to 18-year-old class together.
That's how our class was.
Yeah. And so how we would do it is we would put her at the very front of the staging lane, so she would be first, and then we would just have my junior like off to the side so I could just jump in at the very end. So I would start up her car, like set the carburetor,
set the idle, do the whole thing. This is incredible. Yeah, and then so I'd hop into mine, just find someone else's parent that could then start my car. And we just it was just the two of us. Like sometimes my mom would come, but a lot of the times she was with my dad, so we were like on our own. Incredible.
And we just had to learn how to do it, learn how to work on the cars ourselves if we had problems. And thankfully we did have, parents that would come and help us out. So I want to give a shout out to John and Jason Medlin.
Okay.
Because they were so, they were like our second dad. Or other than my uncle Joe whenever he couldn't come. But them two really took care of us when our parents couldn't. And then they helped us because they raced super comp. So then they helped us transition into super comp. And that was something where my dad is like, I don't know nothing about this. I ain't touching it.
I actually know John. I know John.
Okay, good.
Super great guy.
So great.
He's great, excellent dude. Yeah, I've met him a handful of times.
Yeah, so they really taught us a lot about
That's
super
very
comp.
Cool.
Yeah, my dad was like, I ain't doing nothing with bracket racing.
I think that's the funny thing about like parents who really don't understand the bracket racing that get their kids in juniors, because it's like such a I say this too, and Tyler I think feels the same way, but like junior dragster racing changed it really had such a huge impact on my life, because I have friends that I race juniors with. I don't have friends I went to college with. Or I went to college, and I don't talk to. I have friends from my college. We didn't even know each other in college, which is crazier, right? So like, I don't know anybody from my school. High school, I talked to maybe one or two people. It's
Same.
it's like so like, but the racers, like I have a lot of friends I grew up with racing that really like I'm still cool with, homies. Like we keep in touch. So that's what's crazy about it. And I say the same thing about the community, man. I felt really good about racing at Pacemakers and racing at Trails growing up and racing at Norwalk. Man, I had it really, really good. So I'm glad that you said that that's probably part of your favorite part. Speaking about that with your sister, obviously, what's that like? What was that competition like, or what is it like now versus what was it like then? How has that changed? Because obviously, like you said, she's got back in it now. Like she didn't drive for a little while, right? And then she got back in and wins, and that's awesome. What's that like racing with your sister growing up and having that now?
We did not have like what you would think would be like a lovey-dovey sister relationship. We were very competitive with each other.
Okay.
Like we're just always trying to one up each other, whether it's who worked more hours in the shop or who was able to lift more weights or who won more races or who got better reaction time. Like no matter what it is, we turn it into a competition. And just because like we had to do everything together growing up, and like we went to the same college and all that stuff. So our relationship has gotten better the older that we are,
Sure.
having some distance between us has helped. But yeah, it's not, some people think like, oh, I like your sisters, so you must be like best friends. And
Might not
to
always
be
be
honest,
like,
we're not.
yeah.
Like, we're close, but we're not
sure.
like
It's not the same. Yeah, some people
best
have that
friends.
for
Yeah.
sure. What obviously you guys kind of got into Top Alcohol and you were the first into it. What was it like getting into Top Alcohol with your dad obviously being a team owner and having like such an established, Randy Meyer Racing is like, realistically, like probably the second or third, got to be top 3 most winning Top Alcohol teams, right? Like outside of Frank Manzo and guys like that, right? But like you guys are probably one of the winningest teams. What was that like getting into your dad's business, right? Like stepping in and being like, all right, I'm ready to run that. What was your, first off, what was it like starting, and what was your goal with that getting into it?
So growing up, like that's what I always wanted to do. Like I just wanted to do what my dad did.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't easy, right?
Yeah.
So if anybody knows my dad, like he's definitely softened up the last 5 years.
Okay.
But before that, he was like such a hard ass. Like he's not nice. He is a Debbie Downer. Like he always just thinks the worst. Like even when we win the championship, like
what
it
an
still
approach to
wasn't
it.
good enough.
What an approach to it. Just like,
Yeah.
we did win the world title and that's not enough. We should have got
Yeah.
It's like, wait a second. I think that was enough. That's the goal.
Right.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah. So I always try to like think positive. I try not to kind of get into that mindset because it is easy to get negative, right?
Sure.
So we had an agreement that I had to graduate from college first, and I had to get like all A's too, because if I got like a B, I was grounded.
Right, of course.
And
Naturally, obviously.
Yeah. So, but we did take 3 years to get my license for Top Alcohol because we knew that's what I wanted to do. And so I did go to Frank Colley School to get my Super Comp license. And then we kind of used that format of how I would license in Top Alcohol. And so learned a lot doing it that way. And so anytime there was testing, like before or after a race, he would let me get in the car, and he would also change the tune-up. So we would purposely make it smoke the tires or shake. Okay. So that way I could learn what that felt like.
Trial by fire. You love to see that.
Yeah, because like you don't really get that in Super Comp. And so it's like, okay, I've never experienced something like this before. And it's just there's a lot of differences between Super Comp and Top Alcohol Dragster. So just getting used to the length of the car, like knowing how to use a handbrake and knowing how to use a clutch pedal. So there's a lot that's different. So we just took our time with it. We knew, so at that time, 2015 was my last year of school, and I graduated in the winter time because I took my time changing my
we've all
changing
been
my major.
What major are you? I'm undecided. Haven't you been here for 4 years? Yeah, but I'm still undecided.
Yeah. So took my time with that, and yeah, so I graduated in the winter time. But that summer we did 2 races. Me to make my debut in Top Alcohol. So the first one was at St. Louis, and it was so cool because I was so excited to do that. And this was the first time I've ever gotten to race with my dad. So, before that it was always like, he does his thing, I do my thing, but now first time we're actually doing it together. And we were on opposite sides of the ladder. So we could have faced each other in the final round, but I lost in the semis. Okay. He did make it to the finals. And then the next weekend we did it was the double at Topeka.
Okay.
And same situation, qualified on opposite sides of the ladder. I made it to the finals this time, but he lost in the semis. So we never got to actually race against each other. And that's probably like my biggest
regret.
It's not like a regret, but like
missed opportunity.
Like it's always going to be on my bucket list. I'll never have the chance again because he's never going to drive again. But yeah, that's like, if I could go back into history, I would want to do that
I'll
again.
tell you this. I was like, as hot as it could have been. I mean, I was as good as one could be at a local racetrack. I felt like I was that guy, right? I would win a lot on the. I was like, I'm that guy. I'm that dude at 20 years old. I'm like, I'm that guy. And my dad wore me like a shoe. I mean, he beat my ass twice, and I was like, this is bullshit. I'm better than this guy. This guy is not better than me. And it's like, it just goes to show, you're like, all right, maybe the old dog's got a few tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah.
So, just always think this. You're undefeated against your dad. I have 2 losses. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about it. What, talk about just like what it took to win 2 world championships at that level. Look, I just don't, I never really got it until recently when I've watched a lot more alcohol and having more friends that have run it. What's that take? It takes a lot but like alcohol is a different animal because you're like, it costs a lot of money to run alcohol, top alcohol, just to be clear. It's basically a top fuel class. It takes a lot. So what's it go into that for you to win those titles, and how accomplished did you feel afterwards?
You need to have thick skin because top alcohol racers are like high schoolers, and they are 60-year-old high schoolers. And it is just, there's so much drama that goes on. And it's just, so people did not like me because I got it easy, right? Because my dad had the platform ready to go.
Yep.
All I had to do was hop in and drive, right?
Why not? Super easy.
So, but also I was changing things up because I did things differently. I didn't have a black car.
Yeah.
I had to go and get my own sponsorship. I had to pay to drive for my dad, which a lot of people might not know that. And I got a title sponsor from a company that only did product sponsorships, and I got a 6-figure check from them, and people didn't like that.
Yeah.
And they didn't like that things were changing, and they still don't like it. And so
life.
yeah, for real. And also this was when like no one else did like rental programs or like arrive and drive programs. And so we were really starting to grow that. So we were making a legit business out of the race team. So we had 2 different focuses, me winning a championship and then us growing the bringing on new drivers. And so there was a lot of times where I had 12 different teammates and trying to get along with that many people, and they might have been a little jealous, or they might have been a little defeated if one car was better than the other. And I know there was times where I was pissed off if the other car was better than mine.
Sure.
But my dad doesn't ever play favorites.
There's no R&D car, right? I saw a thing. The reason I asked you about this specifically, because I think that's a big part of it, is that fly in and drive. My dad used to say, he's like, man, you'd be a great IndyCar driver. You fly in with your helmet and you drive and I'm like, damn, it's kind of hurtful, but I get it. So I think I'm watching, as I was mentioning, 04, David Grubnick has been driving now at this point for Coletta, and everyone's like, he's the R&D driver. That's what they were saying. Like everybody's laser focused. He is the R&D driver. And he ends up going last one of the sessions, and the ESPN asked him, they're like, you were surprised that you went last. And he's like, I don't know why. Did you ask Connie why I went? Like, I just drive. That's what I do. Like, there is no favorites. There is no, and I think that's a great way to put it. Like, you're like, damn, I was kind of mad that the other car's doing better. I'm supposed to be team A. I'm A team here. But in reality, like, it's a business. So, like, whoever's winning is the A team. Like, that's really what it boils down to, right? Like, who's ever winning is the one. Sorry. So not to interrupt, but I just thought that was funny. Like, I'm glad that you put that in perspective.
And kind of to go back to like talking about Rachel, like having a dad, like you always want to be the favorite sister,
Sure.
And he was very clear that like, I'm not going to play favorites between the 2 of you. So you got to have thick skin because people are going to talk no matter what. And the more you win, the more they talk. And my sister is one who wants to be friends with everybody. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm like, I'm here to race. I'm here to win. I don't care if you like me or if you do like me. Like, I'm not one to go and hang out every single night and drink. Like, I'm going to go to bed early because I want to wake up and be in the right mindset and feel good for a race day. But Rachel's always been more social at the track. And so she, so I won in 19 and 20, and then I got married and got pregnant. So I stepped away, and that was the plan. And she filled the shoes in 21, and she learned the hard way. The people that she thought were her friends, as soon as she won her first race, they turned their back on her. And it's just is what it is. And she was like so upset because she's like, why don't these people like me anymore? And it's because if you're successful,
you're no longer the drum, you are the drummer. So it sometimes it be like that.
So I don't know,
that's crazy.
It's tough. And also at that time we were having a lot of internal team drama too, and so things are just stacking up to where I was just like, you know what, I'm kind of sick and tired of this. And also we were traveling, because not only am I going to the races that I'm driving at, but we go to all these other races that we have our other drivers going to. So we're going to 30 or more races a year. The average top alcohol team does 17 races a year. And I was just burnt out on traveling all that time. I was newly engaged, and my fiance is like, hey, you should probably be home a little bit more. And just like all the big commitments that we had to do for sponsorships, the appearances, displays, all that stuff. So it's just adding up. So it takes a lot, because we do, like, for us, we treat it like we are a professional racing team, because we get paid like that, even though we're not technically in the NHRA pro ranks. But I mean, we treat it like that. So it's a lot. And so my career in top alcohol was only 5 years long. But
2 world championships, baby. Don't ask.
Yeah, we did a lot in 5 years.
That's amazing. I think that goes, that's a great segue to what I wanted to ask you. It's like, when did you begin to shift your focus from the social media side, from a personal use of a gain for yourself? Like you said, right? You had to find that money to get that sponsorship, to do that. Like, when did you turn it to that, to being like, not only can I do this for myself, but I think we can help other people? When did that shift for you happen?
It was early on. So when I was in college, was really when it started. And like the Medlands were one of the first people that had asked, like, hey, can you make hero cards for us? Or like John was like, hey, can you make me a website? Or he was like, hey, I made a Facebook page. What do I do with it now? And so, because I studied graphic design in school, just because I was having to do stuff like that for my dad. And I had no formal training. Like, our high school didn't really offer graphic design class. So I wanted to go to college and like learn these skills of something I could bring that would help out our race team. And just along the way, the friends that we had would just, naturally ask me to help them out too.
Isn't that the best? Like, you're just like, I kind of tripped and fell into this, and like, that's kind of how I figured it out. And I'm in the same boat. I was trying to do all these ideas to do music. I was like, how do we do music video? Like, I loved making music videos. I was like, how do I do this? But it's expensive. And so as I've gotten later in life, I'm like, why can't I just do this myself? Like, enjoy, like, I got to figure out how. Photoshop, whether it was figuring out Photoshop or Illustrator or all of these tools that people have to do logos and cover art. I love that you had to figure it out too. You're like, I was like, well, I got to do this. So let me just, figure that out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but then let's see. So 2020, we were at Gainesville. I just flew in like that morning when they announced, hey, and like sportsman cars were running. And then Alan Reithart on the PA is like, hey, everybody's got to load up and leave like tonight. And so, and actually our crew guy, the guy that was driving the truck at the time, he lives in Texas, and like our next race was, I think, going to be Dallas. And so he just took the rig to his house, and then it was like 2 months because like the state line, whatever, shut down. And he like could not leave Texas to bring the truck and trailer up to Kansas. So there's like 2 months we didn't even have the cars or anything at the shop with us.
Sure.
But at that time, like I said, my dad was in the towing industry, so he had a dealership for tow trucks. And so that's where I worked.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Monday through Friday when we weren't at the racetrack. And, I was just very low on the totem pole. I was the one that was sweeping the floors and counting how many nuts and bolts we have in inventory. So
do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I didn't really have like a big role there just because I was gone a lot. But I was the one and only one that got laid off. And so,
damn. Imagine Dad being like,
so I'm like, okay, like I don't technically have
bro.
a job anymore. We don't have race cars to work on. Like, what am I going to do? And so that's when I made courses, because I was like, okay, this has been on my to-do list for a long time. And also at that time, I was working with quite a few big brands, and they're like, hey, we love what you do. We sponsor all these other racers, but they suck at social media. So they're like, hey, can you like help them out?
That's incredible.
So that's when I made a course and fell into the education space, which I had no idea I was going to do that. I really enjoyed it though, but this year I'm done with the coaching and courses and all that, just because it takes
a lot of time.
Yeah, just to maintain an upkeep and try to sell, because if I'm not talking about it, then it doesn't sell. So it takes a lot to have those digital products.
Sure. Before we skip to we're going to talk about Autofluencer. Can people reach out to you? Do you have them for sale? Like for the last time, like, hey, this is our final, you could come check us out here and buy these courses?
Not anymore. Okay, so we did a big Black Friday sale.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Almost a month ago. Yep. So that was like the last chance.
Very cool.
But there might be some sources where they could be available next year. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Stuff is still in the works, because like I did make quite a few templates, and a lot of it was just like, this is what I am actually using to help me get sponsors.
Yeah.
And I know other racers, like, they don't know what a proposal should look like or what a deck looks like or what's a proof of performance report. And so I still have those templates. I don't want to just completely get rid of them. So there might be some platforms where they will be available next year.
That. Well, make sure you guys follow, obviously, Megan Meyer on Facebook, her racing page. That's how it gets triggered to me. I'll tell you, obviously it's been targeted, which I think that's where we're going to head to. So let's take that segue into Autofluencer. At PRI, you were named head of creator and racer strategy. I know they like to do it alphabetically over there at brand management. So head of creator and racer strategy. What's that? Look, first off, let's talk about Autofluencer first. I did not know that you were any part of it until myself and Brian's like, hey, I'm using this new company. It's called Autofluencer. We're going to talk about campaigns and can you make sure all these people. So I was kind of put in charge last year at Virginia to be like, hey, can you reach out to some of our more social media friendly people to be like, hey, can you guys use this hashtag? We'd like to track it. And obviously our racers are part of our brand as well, because a lot of them are partners within the racing too. They sponsor, or they have, they do giveaways or whatever it may be. And so those folks were doing that. And so that's kind of how I got looped into it. But tell everybody, what is Autofluencer?
Yeah. So it's been about 3 years in the making, but a year and a half ago, a lady had approached me at PRI show about 2 years ago now. And she was like, hey, I'm working on a software that will track your social media. And she was like, I would just love to know your inputs about that. And at that time, I had actually started talking to some developers about making my own software to do that, because I was spending so many hours manually tracking all of our posts. So I'd take, whatever we'd have on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and I would put every single post in a spreadsheet with all the analytics. So all the views and engagements and link clicks and all this stuff. And every month I send a report to our sponsors. Yeah. And then I'd have to, I'd have
you're
to
the only person doing that, just to be clear.
Yeah.
You were
only
at the
person
time.
doing
it. Should be, I work at, so for those who don't know, I do have a real job. I work in data management. So we aggregate we I work in analytics within the space of data. And so I find it amusing. I've always wondered, social media wise, we work in different data, but like, it's crazy that you're saying that, because it's like, yeah, nobody was doing that. Nobody was looking at that information. Facebook has all this readily available to everybody, just so you know. If you are a Facebook user and you're talking to sponsors, this is readily available for you.
Yes.
And so you were doing it manually at the time. That's crazy. Okay.
Yes, manually. And again, knew nothing about Excel or data entry or how to
aggregation or any of it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And so I was just, kind of learning as I go. But I would do like, okay, here's all the posts where we tagged NGK spark plugs. And then like, okay, here was our top 3 posts. And I put that into a little presentation and email it over to them. And I'd separate it out for each of our sponsors. And so I was like, okay, this was when like really like people first started talking about AI. And I was like, okay, there's got to be a way I could use AI to kind of track this for me and like separate it out. So, because I was spending so much time doing this, but I was like, I know this is so important for our sponsors. And so I was like, I can't just like stop doing this. But so I had started talking to some engineers about this, and it's so like, it was just, fates that she comes up to me and she's like, hey, I'm making this thing. Like, what do you think about it? I'm like, oh my God, like that's exactly what like I need and what I want to make.
Yeah.
And so thankfully hers has already been started. So I was like, okay, great. So I don't have to like start from the very beginning.
Sure.
And so, and so she comes from the tech side, but she worked more in car dealerships. And so she was fairly new to the automotive industry. And so she was just trying to get her name out there and get feelers for the, this programming. And so we've been working together for about 2 years now. It has been a game changer for me as far as efficiency, saving time, but also I love that I can use it for our existing sponsors and I can use it for new sponsors. So, like for example, with Gunk, it tracks every single social media post that we make on Gunk. But what's great is it combines my page with Randy Meyer Racing and then all of our other drivers, which for us, it's not a requirement for other drivers to talk about our sponsors because they're a team sponsor, not an individual driver sponsor. But if they do, great, that's bonus.
Yeah.
And so it categorizes all of it. It puts it into very pretty charts.
Yeah.
And
it's a great, it's almost like you're aggregating it to utilize it. Like if anybody hears Power BI users, it's very similar of that functionality. This is aggregating that data to show, hey, this is a thing that you like. Now you're showing value for your posts, because I think that's the thing that I see a lot. And I just brought this up that you made me think of this. I see a lot of people on TikTok, right? It's starting to, my algorithm's starting to target racing stuff to me. And some guys there's a couple people on there talking about like, we were asked by these people and this is what we offer. And I put your name on the side of the car. And, I think a lot of people are always like, oh, well, back in the day, I just had to put your name on the side of the car. It's like, yeah, well, back in the day, 100,000 people were in the stands to see your name on the side of the car. It's not the same thing anymore. Like, yeah, I am going to put your name on the side of the car, and I understand that doesn't really do value for you, but here's where I am going to add value for you. How does that make you different? And this is part of that, right? Autofluencer offers that, like, hey, here's how I'm offering you actually difference. This is how it's getting in front of people in this way, right?
Yeah. And so not only does it show all of your insights, but it also puts a dollar amount to it.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that I love, because I had no idea in the past what the dollar amount of our social media was. Like, people just kind of knew me as like the girl that did social media and like that's cool and all, but I had no idea what the actual value of it was. And so it bases it off of engagement. So if you are a racer who does not reply to comments, or you don't get very many comments, this is where like, hey, you really need to try to focus on that, because that's going to really boost your dollar amount there.
Sure.
But yeah, so it will give you the dollar amount, and then it also again shows you how many views you got for this month or this week, and it separates it out by sponsors. So that's what I love about it. Super easy to just go in and like, okay, I want to see all the Gunk posts we did. now I want to go and see all the posts we did about NGK spark plugs, or now I want to see all the ones we did for Maxima. And then I can see like, oh, hey, like we didn't do this many for Maxima, but so we need to like bump that up the next month. So right. I like looking at the data. I'm not like a data nerd, but like, I think it's cool to kind of see it laid out in the format like this, and where it's really easy to understand. And as soon as we send it to our sponsors, they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah,
tell us
usable
more
information, right?
Yeah. So the brands, the companies can make an account on Autofluencer too. So it's not just for racers, it's also for the companies.
Yep.
And then they can see all of the racers that they sponsor, and they can see, hey, this person is doing really well, this one's not doing so good. Here's where there's room for improvement for them, but this one's giving us a 3-to-1 return on our investment. So we need to sponsor them more in 2026.
Yeah.
And so, and it's, what's great about it is we don't need admin access to your accounts. We have a channel where we're able to get that information straight from Facebook. And
love that API.
Instagram,
love that API
YouTube.
Connection, baby. Let's go.
Yep. So pretty much like, so when we set up the campaigns for TV promotions, they had about 30 different racers they wanted us to track. And so we just get the URL. It's like, okay, here's who we want to follow. And then it will pull up all their posts, and it will automatically tag them based on who they're mentioning and what hashtags they're using, and put it into a nice little report that we can present.
Yeah, I think that's the other piece of it too, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about, like, obviously the TV promotions thing came up, which I think is great, and how racers can use it. The dollar amount, going back to that, right? Like, how me and Brian talk a lot about that, and I think what racers, as a musician, I'll tell everybody, right? I've built. My fan base is small, right? I spent my entire life to get however many followers on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and all that stuff. And I learned this from Wes Buck. He told me this a long time ago. These companies do everything you can to build as much fan base as you can. And then they charge you to reach those fans. As simple as that. So companies use money in their budget every month. They spend so much to target you every month. Even if you already follow them, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. You guys can copy and paste every dumb shit you want to on Facebook. You can. All this, let me go to this setting and this setting. It does not matter. You can do whatever you want. Facebook does not care, because they're going to charge you to reach said people. It just is what it is. And so that's my one thing that's like, this brings you back to, from a racer perspective. I have a page. Obviously, my music page is not just my music. It's my alter ego of PJ North. That's what it is. And I've never been able to value the posts. I've never been able to do that. Now we have that capability to be like, hey, look, as a racer, and here's how I want your company to benefit. I think a lot of people don't understand that it's a two-way street of, yes, I want what you have. I want your product and I want your money to do that, but here's how I can benefit you. If you're a new oil company and you have this product that you would like to get in front of racers, to be honest, you could go out there and pay Gary and Troy and those guys, and it's probably going to work if that's the way you want to approach it. Or you can approach it with, I don't necessarily win that often. However, I am a lot more active. Or you can go out to Billy Hoskinson, where it's like, he doesn't do the same thing, but his cars run fast on the street. Is that what you want? Or you can go to Jimmy Dale and Little Gangsters. Is that what you want? Like, that capability now, these other racers who aren't necessarily well-known yet, but they're building and they're growing, can now show that of like, hey, I'm worth $5,000 of your money and product because of this.
Yeah.
And like, that's part of it. Right.
Yeah, you're not just guessing of like, hey, I want $5,000 to because it's going to cover my entry fee in my race class, right?
Yeah.
There's actual data and proof behind it. So, yeah, I think a lot of people are still kind of stuck in the old mindset of like, I just need to put a logo on the side of the car and just rely on the TV exposure or the streaming exposure or the attendance and spectators. And like you said, it's not what it used to be. And even with TV time, the value of TV time has really decreased because people just watch the highlight reels. They don't want to sit and watch TV for 2 hours and go through all the commercials. They just want to know who wins at the end of the day. So TV time is decreasing. Social media is increasing. And the great thing about social media is you have complete control over what you want to post,
what you're depicting, what you're showing people. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's free to use, right?
That's what I was going to ask. That's got to be the big selling point, right? So that was my question for Autofluencer. First off, where can they go? It's autofluencer.com, right? Easiest way to do it.
Yes. And then we are setting up a program. So with my role, because I do have experience selling digital products, being an educator, marketing and all that type of stuff, we are creating a new tier of it for racers that will be a paid tier. So as of now, it is still free for racers to use. There is a limit though of how many campaigns, which just means how many different sponsors you want to track.
Right.
And we also can't go too far back. I think 60 days is as far back we can go to. If you want to go and see all your 2025 data, we can do that. There's just going to be a fee associated with that because Facebook does charge us for that.
Yeah.
But for those that are listening and watching, if you want to track your performance in 2026, you need to get it set up now because we don't have too many days left of 2025. It really doesn't take that long to set up.
I will tell people that, like, I want to say this is like, if you're serious about it, I understand racing is expensive, right? Racing is a hobby. But if you're looking to take your racing to the next level, I think what she's saying, like, that's my big selling point when I wanted to, like, what's the big, for me, it's not only that it's available free for you. If you're an organized person like I am, and I have spreadsheets and I have documents and I have everything detailed to a certain extent, right? I'm not like nano details, but I'm a pretty detailed person to a certain extent. Like, now is the time to get on there and start to play around with that. If you really want to take your racing to the next level, it's not about Joe Bob's thing, but if you're racing at Florida every week, if you're a guy that's, let's just say you go to Bradenton and that's your home track and you race the points there and you want to take your thing to the next level, if there's a new towing company, hey man, here's how many people we reach every week that might need a tow, and this is how we can get you there, and like, this is what I can offer you. Like, that's where you should start to think. You're not, look, the days of Marlboro and Skoal and all that shit, that don't exist, brother. You're not going to get Bud Light. It's just not going to happen. However, there are other companies and other IPAs of beer that people should, that want to drink. That's who you need to be approaching, and you need to be using something like this. What would you say, last question about it, what would you say is the biggest what's the advantageous, like, quick thing? Because a lot of people too, right? It's like, I need that quick instant gratification. What do you think is like the biggest quick thing they can get from Autofluencer right now, like just initial use for them?
Yeah, well, I think just being able to look at the data in a way that's understandable. Because like, if you log into like the Meta Business Suite on Facebook and you just have like endless columns, it's like, it's just like post by post, like it doesn't combine it all together. So just being able to see the data of what you've done on social media in a way that makes it easy to read, and it's not going to take you hours to understand what it's saying, even if it's not for a specific company. Just like, what's your results on social media, and then that way you have a good baseline, and then you can set a goal for 2026. It's like, okay, I want to increase my views, say 20% next year. So it gives you a goal to work towards.
Sure. Yeah. So like I said, I would tell everybody, autofluencer.com, go to it, check it out right now. It has the opportunity. I know you're sitting on your phone. If you're watching, or you're sitting at your computer or whatever, visit it, right? If you're watching on YouTube, pull your phone up. If you're YouTube's go to autofluencer.com and follow along with us this year at TB Promotions, because I'm going to be talking about it during the live stream. We're going to have some different things to talk through what that looks like, and hopefully we'll have some visuals and some different things to be able to show you guys, because I do think it's, like I said, super valuable information for racers. And that's really, like I said, why I wanted to have you on to talk through that. It's a lot of new stuff too. It's a relatively new business for you guys, right? Like within the last couple of years. And now you, like you said, you've been announced as head of creator and racer strategy, which I think will be super fun for you and give you that opportunity to do that.
Yeah. So next year, with that, we're going to be creating a membership program, and we're going to try to keep the cost low. So I think we're going to do like $29 a month. So, just about $1 a day. Right.
Yeah.
And with that, though, I will be able to do some coaching sessions through there. We're going to do what's called a creator roundtable.
Awesome.
So we're going to get together maybe once or twice a month and just brainstorm and like shoot the shit with other racers and creators to be like, hey, like this is the equipment I use, or this is the style of editing, or this is what, type of unboxing video I did that really worked for me, just so we can bounce ideas off of each other.
Sure.
And then, so we've got a lot of ideas of how we're going to grow that in 2026, but this is like the next best thing in motorsports. So every company that we talk to at PRI, they're like, yes, like we want to jump on board. So because there are other programs out there, but they are not specific to motorsports, and they don't understand the importance of categorizing based on who you tap. They just show you like all the data. And so really this is like a one-of-a-kind software that's out there, and we're creating it in favor of motorsports and for racers. Also, anybody that's just like a car builder. And I think like you kind of touched on this earlier, like you don't have to be winning races to get sponsored. Like if you just show like the process of how you're building a car, maybe you only race 4 or 5 times a year, you can still get sponsored but for your content. And I'm be the first one to say like this is a true story, because I get paid more now from sponsorships, and I race 3 times a year than I did when I was racing 20 times a year. Right.
I tell people that constantly, like there's so many opportunities now that I didn't even realize, but the tools that are available to you. This is another thing. This is Bracket Racing Elite to help you as a racer, Autofluencer to help you gain traction as if that's what you want to do, or just gain value for your team. Like there's things like this now available that just like, it's crazy how our sport is growing to have that. So I love that. That's awesome. I do want to there's a couple questions here in the chat. First for you, and then I'm going to let you ask me a question. So 2 things here. First, Clark asked a long time ago, he said, at Megan, would you consider racing IHRA, which you already have, but more if a former large track reopened near Forbes Field? I don't know where Forbes Field is, but
I don't either. I was going to ask you that.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you knew.
No, I don't know where that is.
Okay.
So we, like I said, we are planning to do more IHRA races, but I don't know if I am going to do more. Okay. So, if anyone has been following my journey, I've recently got into off-road racing and I love it. That's awesome. So I am going to be doing a lot more of that next year. So that will limit my schedule availability for drag racing, but I am planning on doing at least 1 or 2 IHRA next year. And again, we're still waiting on the schedule to see what we could fit in, but also, like I said, business side of running the rental driver program that's my dad's top priority. So for me, even though I do have my own sponsor to drive, I'm at the bottom of the list of who can come and drive the cars.
Who gets to fly in and let go. I got you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just kind of the fill-in whenever we can't find anybody else to drive.
All right. Last question for you before I let you ask me one. What's it going to take to get me in a top alcohol car to get my license and drive? Maybe I might want to try it. What I got to do? Who I got to talk to?
Is this your question or someone in the chat?
This is my question.
Oh, okay,
I didn't put it on the list because I wanted to surprise you a little bit with. I like to come in with a curveball every once in a while.
Yeah. So the fact that you do have prior experience is great, because we get probably half the people that will reach out to me or my dad have never driven anything down a drag strip before.
Oh, okay.
So that already puts you in like mid-tier there.
Excellent.
Yeah, we do prefer, if it's like we could just pick and choose whatever we want. Usually if someone's driven super comfort top dragster, because
hell yeah, never drove top dragster, but I'm willing to let go.
Yeah, they understand, just driving a dragster is different. It's long and narrow. But also, those classes are getting close, if not, like top dragster, they go over 200 miles an hour.
Wild.
And so that's really close. The closest thing you can get before top alcohol.
I have tried. I'll say this.
That's what we want.
I'm not a fast guy. I've never been like that's never been my thing in racing. I actually kind of love being the underdog, being slow. I've kind of gotten like taking it in. I drove Brian's, and I don't know if I told this, or I drove Brian's dragster for the first time in 24. And I've obviously have driven I had a dragster, I went 470s, like whatever, but not really thinking of it. But I hadn't been in a dragster in like almost 5 years at this point, right? 4 or 5 years. And so I get in it and I'm like, I'm preparing myself. I'm like, okay, it's going to be fast. I'm going to go 450s out, but I'm ready. I'm like, I'm holding on. I'm ready. I let go and it took off. And I told Brian, I was like, it felt like a rocket. I was like, I only went like 450s at like 148 or 50 or whatever. And I was like, I was not as prepared as I thought I was. I can only imagine. Me and Tyler talk about this. Like, I never grew up like wanting to drive Top Fuel or anything, but I can only imagine like it's got to be pretty cool to do that. So that's why I'm like, you know what? Me and Troy Jr. TJ talk about like his experience at McPhillips and things like that. And then his experience at Kalita and just how different. I was like, I just don't know if I would ever be ready, but I like to throw that curveball out there. Cause I'm just like, I don't know, maybe I'll jump. I'm liable to let go. That, you know what I mean? I got to be able to do it at least once, but I think I would also be scared about 30 foot out. Not even, cause literally 30 foot, the car's 20 feet long. So damn near 30 foot out. I'm like, I'm probably scared shitless at that point. I'm like, you know what? All right, man, cool. This has been enough. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks.
Yeah, you just need that initial launch. Yeah.
Sir, you paid for the whole weekend. Nah, I think I'm good here. That 30 foot was that 30 foot was good for me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll give you the opportunity. You get to ask me a question. Tyler's not here, but you get to ask me anything that you might want to ask us.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
Yeah, so to circle back on where we began, there's quite a few changes going on. What do you see as the future for just the sport of drag racing as a whole? Because we've got our opinions, but it is just based on, top alcohol, just because that's what we do. Yeah. But what are your opinions?
Yeah, so I think this. I don't think we have strong leadership across the board. I think that there's a lot of like ego in it, and I think strong leadership isn't an ego thing. I've told people, like I said, I have a real job, and I've been very lucky to have very strong managers who have helped shape my career as to what I think good leaders do. Good leaders, especially for me, and why I think I am a good leader of people for two reasons. I understand. I am empathetic to their situation. I am also empathetic to people who are requesting my team to do things. I'm empathetic to why they're doing that, right? I'm a big give and take guy, right? So like, hey, okay, we know that you've requested this in the 12th hour. Yes, we can do it. It is going to cost you down the road. I want to let you know that. So like, yes, we're more than willing to support your request. And we'll do it, but here's what it's going to cost you down the road. I don't think we have good leaders in our space right now to a certain extent. And I say that because of the decisions being made. It feels everything is reactive. Nothing is proactive, right? Yes. I don't believe, some of these racetracks just aren't going to exist down the road. They are mom and pop, podunk, small town facilities that just don't make money. They don't have the ability to grow. They're stuck. That's just life. And I do see that happening. It is sad. I hated to see the track I grew up at. Me and my dad put a lot of money, a lot of time. He had a lot of supporters that put a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money of their own to make it happen, and it just didn't happen. We're also 45 minutes to an hour from Norwalk. Do you know how hard it is to compete with $1 ice cream? Does everyone understand that shit? Those are good leaders. Look, Bill Bader is a great leader of growth, but I don't know that we have a lot of great leaders on either side. I like IHRA's people that they have. I know a lot of them, right? I know Derek. I know Woody. I know a lot, but I don't know Daryl, and I don't necessarily know that he's a great leader yet. Yes, I know he's made a shit ton of money. Just so everyone's clear, I'm aware. Elon's made a lot of money too, but I don't think he's a great leader, and I don't think people quite get that. So I'll say, for me, I don't know that we have a lot of great leadership, but I hope that we do. Do I want to be a leader? Would I be great in it? I don't know. But I don't know that I would want to do that role either. I know that a lot of the division directors are great leaders. I like a lot of them, and I think they make really good decisions. I unfortunately think they're handcuffed a lot. I think we have a lot of great people like Brian Loans and Jason Galvin who love this shit. They love it. With a passion, they love it. But I also don't know that they have the ability to lead. I don't know that they've been put in a position where they can't. I don't know that they have autonomy to lead, because I don't know that the tops really want to give them that. So I have high hopes for the other. I think that it will continue to strive. Car culture is good. There are people like myself and Tyler and you and Cameron who still love it, or people like the Little Gangsters group and Westbuck who still love this shit, who have the passion to love it. I think there's a lot of us that do, right? TJ, Erica, Courtney. There's a lot of those people. Richard still loves this shit. John Force still loves this shit, and he's put people. I think I love that Jordan Vandergriff was put in that role. I'll say that. You need to have it, or else it dies. You have to feed the sport. I think from a leadership level, I don't know that they're feeding it, and I'm using that as a blanket term across it. I don't. I do see a lot of series succeeding, but it's hard. And so I hope that it continues to grow. But I'm always hopeful. I'll say that. I'm hopeful for IHRA. I am hopeful for NHRA. I'm hopeful for all of the pro mod stuff, for PDR. I love the folks at PDRA who are still passionate about it, man. Tyler and the Franklins and all those folks. Like, I don't think people understand the amount of work that it goes into that shit, right? To make it on Flow TV and to do it's a lot of work to go into this. So I'm hopeful. That's my thing, man. I'm always hopeful. I'm going to continue to race until, they tell me I can't, until I really can't. Right now, I already can't. I spend astronomical money into it. I really can't, but I love this shit more than anything, man. I letting go of the button, stopping it. I love this shit. And I'm hopeful for everybody. There's guys like Tyler and Brian and Pete and all that stuff. So I'm hopeful for the sport that we continue to grow, and I'm hopeful for the youth that they continue to see what it takes to do this thing. And so, yeah, that's kind of my long-winded answer about it.
Yeah, amen. I agree.
I'm hopeful. Well, man, thank you so much, Megan, for taking the time.
Yeah.
We spent a long time. It's been an hour and 40 minutes. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks, everybody, for watching live on YouTube. If you're listening, hit that like and subscribe button so we keep doing it again. One more episode remains. Next week, myself and Tyler will be back for the year-end episode. If you're into live streaming, I have a race tonight at Kansas. I'm fixing to kick Adam's ass. Adam's here in the chat, and I'm fixing to kick it. I might put him in the wall. And if I hear one more word from our guy Chuck, I'll put him in the wall too. So join us live here on the channel in just a few short minutes. The BE00TAKE00 Show, Winston Cup. This has been the BE00TAKE00 Show, episode 41. Thank you all for joining us. Until next